to Delhi, and you'll definitely be missed.
I would like to thank you for your service, Bill, and I wish you the best of luck down that philanthropic road.
So, Bill, congratulations and thank you for your service. All right. And everyone's looking at me thinking she got through that without one tear. Okay, we'll begin now with the resolutions. Mr. Luby.
Resolution 2014-221, resolution approving purchase order obligations incurred on behalf of the Township by the Township Administrator, authorizing payment of certain purchase order obligations and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second the motion dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Oswald.
Yes.
Mrs. Klug.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2014-222, resolution budgeting and amending of revenues, making appropriations for expenses in various funds, authorizing transfers from one appropriation item to another, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Mr. Landrum, do you have an explanation?
Yes, I have several changes. First of all is amendment of estimated revenues. This is in the forfeitures, for forfeitures in the drug fund for the police department. It's increasing the revenue amount by $17,665.82. This is due to some forfeitures that we have received this year. Some appropriation amendments. This is an additional appropriation. This is in the police drug fund. This is $3,000 in the other miscellaneous line item. This is to pay the share of those forfeitures to the other jurisdiction, which I believe was Hamilton County Sheriff and Prosecutor's Office. Then the rest of, we have some transfers this time of year again. We have a $800 transfer from within the same budget for the fire department to cover some Station 33 repairs. And we have some multiple transfers from different line items into the employer retirement contribution for PERS for the fire department too. Now that is all within the budget. It's not additional funding. It's all from within the same budget. And one last is the Parks and Recreation budget, one line item transfer $1,500, and that is to cover PERS as well. And that's all for the changes.
I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second the motion dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
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 Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Oswald.
Yes.
Mrs. Klug.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2014-223, resolution authorizing a contract with the Hamilton County Regional Planning Commission for professional and technical zoning services pursuant to Revised Code 519.16, authorizing and directing the Township Administrator to execute the contract and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Pete?
This is just an annual thing we do with the county, just in case the township is needing some of the services that are provided, that are detailed in your packet. It's relatively low that we need, but this is just one of those things just in case.
I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second the motion dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Oswald.
Yes.
Mrs. Klug.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2014-224, resolution authorizing the formation of a community improvement corporation and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Mr. Landrum?
Yes, this is to begin the work of our economic development initiatives that we have. CIC is a community investment corporation. This allows many different things, but this is the first step to initialize to set it up. There's many other steps that once we get a certificate back from the state of Ohio acknowledging us as an entity, there will have to be a public meeting which establishes the ordinances and everything else of the CIC itself. So this is kind of the first step to say, hey, we want to create a CIC. They'll send it to the state. Once we get the certificate back, we'll have a public meeting to set up the rules and everything, who's the president, vice president, all those kind of statutory things.
Okay, and Mr. Landrum,
Yes.
most other townships surrounding us all have these in place already.
Most do. There's actually, last count, 'cause cities and other not just townships can have CIC, but counties, cities, all that. I think last count in Ohio there was in excess of like 600 CICs. So yes, but most larger townships of our size or larger, yes, they already have them.
So this is part of our continuing effort with economic development of Delhi Township. Okay.
I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second the motion to dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Oswald.
Yes.
Mrs. Klug.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2014-225, resolution entering into contract for legal services with Schroeder, Mondrell, and Barbieri and Powers pursuant to revised code 504.15 and revised code 309.09 and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution, Mr. Landrum?
This is just basically, we've already done this for 2014. Mr. Barbieri is our economic development person that we're utilizing, attorney that we're utilizing for economic development, such as the CIC. But there's other activities that he will assist us with. So that we already have this done for 14. So this is to update it for 2015.
Okay.
I move to dispense with the second reading.
Second the motion to dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Oswald.
Yes.
Mrs. Klug.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2014-226, resolution employing Lane, Felix, and Raceback Company, LPA, as legal counsel and appointing David C. Lane, Law Director pursuant to revised code 504.15 and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution? Ooh.
I'll move to dispense with the second reading.
Second the motion to dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Oswald.
Yes.
Mrs. Klug.
Yes.
We have to tease you a little bit, Dave. You know that.
Humble me, thank
And
you.
and thank you very much for our rate and continuing to stick by us and keep us out of trouble.
Well, it's my pleasure. I think I had told Pete when I sent it to him, we have not asked for an increase since 2007. So we've always looked at it, and I always look at my service here as just that, a public service. I still operate a business, so I can't do it for free, but we really, really do try to control our rates and costs for the township. So thank you.
Thank you. That resolution passed, Mr. Luby.
Resolution 2014-227, resolution entering into contract for legal services with Frost Brown Todd LLC pursuant to revised code 504.15 and revised code 309.09 and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
I second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
Yes.
Mr. Landrum?
Thank you. This legal services, as many of you know, we're looking to build a firehouse, and it's the regulations, what the state of Ohio tries to do to simplify things for us just complicates things for us. Although Dave would be able to do this process for us to make sure we stay within our bids and our requirements and everything else, there are people that do this every single day, and again, Dave, trying to save us money, has recommended to us people who do this inside and out and can do it blindfolded and upside down. So he's recommended a person that we've listened to and very will help us in the to stay out of legal trouble, make sure we follow the letter of the law. And this will start in 2015, this contract, so that when we begin to look at architects and everything else needed for to stay legal with the process of building a new firehouse.
It's called the Ohio Construction Reform Act. Dave?
Could I maybe just comment on this?
Uh-huh.
This is my recommendation, that you go outside and have Kevin Maloff provide construction, legal services in connection with the construction of this firehouse. I have, every building that we've built in this township in the last 30 years, I've done the construction work on. A couple of years ago, the state of Ohio went through construction reform. It was modern and simplified and, of course, complex. Their effort to make it simple made it, actually what they did, they tried to make public construction like private. That's a great idea. It's just they did it like the legislature does everything. So it is complex. And I recognize that we have not built a building here in the last couple of years. And this particular fella who I've worked with has done it for numerous townships, villages, cities, and I think even some school districts. So I am confident that he will not only provide a more cost-effective service than I could do because he's done it, and in his proposal, I've already made sure that the efficiencies that he has already having handled these, that we're getting the benefit of that. So it's not a question if you're going to spend money, it's how much. So I think you're going to spend less and get more expertise. And so that's really the bottom line.
Thank you for your direction. And
I'll move to dispense with second reading.
Second the motion to dispense with second reading.
all those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
Yes. Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Oswald.
Yes.
Mrs. Klug.
Yes.
Resolution passes.
Resolution 2014-228, resolution declaring certain police department property no longer needed for public use, obsolete, unfit for the use acquired, have no value, authorizing disposal or salvage thereof, and dispensing with the second reading.
I introduce and move the adoption of this resolution.
Second the adoption of the resolution.
Any discussion on this resolution?
I'll move to dispense with second reading.
Second the motion to dispense with second reading.
All those in favor of the motion to dispense with the second reading?
Yes.
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 Mr. Luby, please call the roll.
Mrs. Seavey.
Yes.
Mr. Oswald.
Yes.
Mrs. Klug.
Yes.
Okay, that concludes resolutions for this evening. I do have 2 citizens' comments signed in. Our first speaker this evening, and I will remind everyone that we do have a 5-minute clock limit. Okay, Sharon Reynolds.
Hi. I'm talking tonight about the residents. The residents of Delhi Township are just finding out tonight about Chief Zoes that's going to retire, and I think their first reaction is going to be really surprised. I mean, because nobody's expecting it, and that's what my first initial, what I thought too when I found out. That I was really surprised. So then I think since I think they would like to tell him thank you. Tell him thank you for everything he's done, because he's really helped our township in so many ways. And I know from experience, because I've been at the firehouse a lot and I volunteer there since the year 2000. So I know, everything that, all the good things he's done for our township. And, he's a good person. And I wanted to tell him that. And I wanted to tell him also that I'm sure the residents will say too that I hope God blesses him the rest of his life. So that's what I wanted to say.